I'm getting so tired. I'm getting so.
Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Look, they got Jarvis pulled up, for real. Sweating bullets. They done asked him, can he pass a piss test? Jarvis can't pass no piss test. Now, if he fails this piss test, he can get sent back to the penitentiary. So he does what most people in the streets do when the pressure is too much to bear. You feel what I'm saying? It's all about finding how much you can take, right? And Jarvis couldn't take much. So he said, man, what y'all want? And they tell him, look, we've been watching your brother. We've been watching your brother and seeing what's been going on. We're trying to figure out what he got going on. Because he's moving a lot. He ain't got no job, no nothing. And he's making a lot of money. What does he have going on? So he looks at him. He said, I don't know what my brother's doing. I ain't got nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to protect his brother. He still loves his brother. He ain't trying to turn on his brother. And they tell him, say, look, we know he's doing something, but then if we find out what he's got going on and you're a part of it, you know you're going to federal penitentiary. He said, I ain't got nothing to do with what he got going on at all. And y'all need to leave me alone. Other than that, can I go back to work? They said, yeah, you can go back to work. But don't forget, we watching you. And the next time we bump down on you, we might not be so nice about it. We might make you piss in his cup. So that spooked him. Right then and there, he knew he had to get clean, and he had to get clean fast. Because he didn't know if they were going to call his PO or not. And by the way, he had to call his PO and let him know what went on down. Because that's part of parole conditions, you feel me? Any contact with the police, you got to let your PO know, y'all. If you don't let them know, that's a violation. You can get sent back to the penitentiary. For that, all bets off then. So when he called and tell his PO what happened, the PO said, well, look, just come and see me Friday when you get off work. He didn't know what to think. He spooked. He said, I'll be there, though. He ain't got no choice. So when he gets off work that day, he goes home and he talks to Pooky. He tells Pooky everything that happened, everything that was said, and everything that he told him. Pooky's calm as a cucumber. He ain't worrying about that. He said, man, I ain't doing nothing that they can catch. Nothing. Not a thing. Because here's the thing. Everything that he was selling was legitimately prescribed to the individuals. All he was doing is getting all of their scripts, right? Giving them a little paper, then he move on, right? They gonna have to identify a whole lot more before they can come mess with him. You feel what I'm saying? And besides, Jarvis don't even know the rest of the story. He only knows about Granny. He's no threat to Pooky. He's no threat to Pooky. Pooky learned a long time ago, you know what I'm saying, that when somebody's on their dope, you can't trust them. It ain't that they're not good people. They got a sickness. They might say and do anything. Ain't nobody got time for that. Not when you in the streets. Ain't nobody got time for that. I love you, but I ain't finna tell you my business. It's as simple as that. That dope make you talk too much. You feel me? But here we go. Look, check us out. So Pooky's talking with this girl later on that night, and she tells us, look, it's time to quit. It's time for us to get out of this. We got enough money to do whatever it is that we want to do, start a business, whatever the case may be. We got stocks and everything. We can move on. Just stop. We ain't got to do nothing. He said, we can take Granny with us. Everything will be fine. He said, and she told him, besides, your mama be out, you know what I'm saying, in a little while anyway. She going up for parole. You know, she get 2 years on that 6, go for parole. You might be getting out. So here we go. He said, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about it. We got to do something because we can't continue to roll like this. He knows it's foolish to do that. You know what I'm saying? So here we go. He starts to make preparations. He don't tell everybody what he got going on. Because see, it's one thing about getting out of the game. If you tell people you're getting out of the game, all of a sudden, they can look at you as somebody that they can't rely on no more. And they might toss you up. You don't know what any of the people that you're selling to got going on. They can have indictments, they can have whatever. But as long as you're reliably providing what it is that they need, they'll protect you. But the second that you become, how do I put it? The second that you become somebody that they can't depend on, or somebody that they can use to get out of something that's very, very serious, they will. Right now, they look at him as somebody to protect because he's providing the medication. They're the patient and he's the doctor, and they need him. So they're not saying nothing right now. So he knows it's wise to keep all of his business to himself about making the move. That's it. But he made one final flaw in his game, mistake. He told Jarvis. For whatever reason, he didn't see Jarvis as equally like the people in the streets. I don't know why. At first he had doubts about telling him, and then he decided, I'm going to go on and tell him. And he let Jarvis know, look, man, we about to stop all of this. So Jarvis tell him, I don't want to stop. He full-fledged into it. Like, that addiction, y'all, it's like a 20-year addiction. You're going to relapse, man, on average 12 to 15 times, and you might not even make it. But at the end of the day, Jarvis tells him, look, I'm going to just take over. Pooky tell him, man, I'm not giving you nothing no more. I'm not doing that. We finna shut it down. So Jarvis goes to the pharmacist. And he tells the pharmacist, look, whatever you got going on with my brother and my mom, from this day forward, half of what you give him comes to me. And if you don't, it's going to be a problem. Now, he left it open-ended on what the problem would be and how the thing could turn out, right? But the pharmacist is not stupid. It spooked him. So he called Pooky and he told Pooky exactly what was said. Pooky calls Jarvis to try to talk to Jarvis. Jarvis tell him, look, you can't stop me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Half of that belongs to me. That was the deal when we started. And that's going to be the deal today. Whatever I do with mine is my business. Now, the operation had grown real big. And Jarvis don't know that. See what I'm saying? He still believes it's just granted. So he's satisfied with half of that. And he can do him. So Pooky tells the pharmacist, do it. Give him half of that. And that's it. The rest of it is still the same. So the pharmacist does it. He's spooked about it, but he does it. And now Jarvis is back. Doing this thing. Every month, they rolling. Now, the man was already told that them people watching him. He was already told that. That fear that he had about pissing in a cup and all that went out the window. Because now he got all of this little product in his hand now, and they watching from a distance. They done sent a couple of people to get some controlled buys on him. They done taped it. They done watched him go to his little spot where he gets high. They done videotaped him with that syringe in his arm. They got all of that. They see all of that. They see him when he freaking with the gals and all. They got all of that. And they wait. See, that's what they do. They patient. They wait. They wait till he starts to feel like he can't be touched. He back in the game. He got everybody fooled. And then they send one in on him. Beautiful girl. I'm talking about beautiful. Playing her role to the T. Buy something from him. 2 or 3 times. Then she go back that 3rd or 4th time. She ain't got the money. She tell him, look, can we work out something? He's like, yeah, what do you want to do? She's like, look, I can let you do this to me. You give me that. Oh, he jumped on that. She said, you got somewhere we can go? And he told her, yeah, we can go to my spot. She asked him, where your spot at? I don't want to go too far. She wired up now. He tells her, they hear it. It's the spot they've been surveilling, so they are already there. They go to the spot. They up in there. Jarvis taking his clothes off, doing this and that. She said, hold on a second, let me step to the restroom. I'll be right back. She stepped up into the restroom. All of a sudden, boom! Get on the floor. They bust in. They got him. They catch him. It's just a little bit here, a little bit there. But they told him they were coming back. They told Jarvis they were going to be watching him. They were coming back. They got him this time. He got some stuff with him. Now his life is starting to flash before his eyes. Then she come up out the restroom. She looking at him. Now he looks up. He sees around her neck that badge. He just put his head down into the carpet and just shook his head on the carpet like, oh my God, you the police. She said, yeah. Don't sound nothing like she was before. Period. Nothing. They get him up, set him in the chair. The same agents that questioned him before question him now said, now, you ready to tell us what's going on and how you doing this? He looks at him and he starts to think, how do I get out of this? What story do I tell to get out of this? Now listen to me. He's talking about how he could get out. He ain't thinking about nobody else. And that anger, that selfishness that he had before is still there. Where Pooky had grown out of that, he had become engulfed and enveloped with it. It was all around him. There's no way for him to wash it off of him. So he starts to think about all the people that he believes should pay. All of them. All of them. So he starts to talk. And he tells them that he's just a small part of this game. See, he don't realize how big the operation has gotten. He still thinks it's just the script from his grandma. But he said, y'all ain't gonna believe who's really behind it. It's my grandma. And they be like, what? She's in a wheelchair with dementia. How can she be behind anything? Guess what he tell them, y'all? She ain't got no dementia. That's a game. That's an act. So now the police, they listening. They listening. That's an act. Yeah, she just playing her role. But when she at home, she fine. So they like, oh, they writing everything down. Writing it all down. They get all of this information. Get everything laid out. Now they call it in. Take him down. They release him. He's a confidential informant. Now he's a CI. They release him. Tell him to go on to the house. You know what I'm saying? And don't say nothing. Continue to play his role. He gone back to the house. He's trying to get high. He ain't told nobody nothing. He ain't said a word. Pooky and his gal, they tending to granny. They all sitting around, all this and that. Ain't nothing at the house though. Pooky's smarter than that. He's smarter than that. They sitting around chilling. All of a sudden, they get a knock on the door. Knock on the door followed by some police. We got a search warrant. Pooky goes to the door. He said, hold on a second, I'm opening the door. They could hear him undoing the locks. Click, click, click. He opens the door. He sees about 5, 6 police officers. They hand him the search warrant. He's reading it while they're walking past him. They said, where's your grandmother? He points to her over there. They go over there. There's a female officer with her and a nurse. They go over there. They wheel her right out into the hallway. Aggressive. Talking to her. She's in shock. She don't know what's going on because she really got dementia. She don't know what's happening. And she starts to cry. And they tell her, we don't know what you're crying for. Ain't nobody falling for that. She don't have a clue as to what's going on. So Pooky's girlfriend said, no, she's sick for real. And they looking at her. We already know it's a game. Ain't nobody playing. Put her in handcuffs too. Took her out in the hallway. She's sitting by right next to Granny, trying to console her, talking to her, but Granny just sitting there crying. And, you know, she's elderly, so she ends up going to the restroom on herself. And the nurse that's treating her, that's there with the police, she's saying, something is off here. And she's got the little light, she's flashing in her eyes and look at her and all that. She said, what kind of medication is she on? So Pooky's girlfriend tells her and all this and that. And they said, go find and see if that kind of medication's in there and bring it to me. The nurse told them to bring it to her. They brought the medication out to her. And it was exactly the type of medicine that you're supposed to be taking for somebody under her condition, right? And the nurse said, this woman is not faking. She's sick for real. So now the police feeling some kind of way. They look over there and they see Jarvis. The agency put him in handcuffs. Put his brother in handcuffs too. They take them all down. Take them all down. They get down to the jail. They release the girl. so that she can take care of Granny. But they have to wait at the police department until they're done. They're going to drive them back to the house. So they're sitting down and they're watching the police interrogate Pooky and Jarvis. They're on Jarvis. But they're talking to Jarvis in a different way. They're not talking to Jarvis like he's a suspect. They're talking to Jarvis like he's one of them. Because she could hear them saying, you said this, you told us that, blah, 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 blah. And Jarvis is laughing. He don't care. He don't care. And he told him, he yelled it out, my grandmama is the plug. Y'all can't do nothing to me. It's her. And they looking at him like, you don't have any shame. Your grandmother could go to prison for what you're saying. He said, check the script. Check the script. It's her. So now, Pooky's girlfriend, she's shaking her head. Because Pooky don't hear none of this. He don't know all of this is going on. They got him in a separate area. They grilling him too. They grilling him though, but he don't know this is being said. So now after a couple hours, Jarvis walks out of the police department, no handcuffs. He's gone. And then the female police officer, she drives Pooky's girlfriend and the grandmother back to the house. They get back to the house. Jarvis pulls up. And he tells her she's got to go. She's got to get out. This is not her house. She's not welcome anymore. And she tells him, I'm not going anywhere. She pulled out that pistol. She said, get your stuff and get out. I heard what you were telling that police. He looks at her. I'm talking about he want to try, but he's scared. He don't know if she know how to shoot that thing or not. But he knows she been in them streets, so she knows something. So he leaves. He leaves now. The grandmama, she just sitting there. She don't know what's going on. Imagine this, y'all. If you've ever had a family member that has Alzheimer's or dementia, then you're going to know the look that the grandmother had on her face while all of this is happening. They've taken her out of her comfort zone, took her to the police station. Now they brought her back home, and now she's watching all of this drama unfold. Everything looks strange to her. She's afraid. She's looking at Pooky's girlfriend, trying to get her to console her. It's just a messed up situation. Jarvis leaves, though. He leaves the house. Pooky, he gets to make a phone call. He calls his gal, and he tells her, he said, look, they're arresting me for trafficking. They didn't find anything. But he said they got a witness that's saying that, I'm getting appeals from my grandmother. Pooky's girlfriend says, it's your brother. I heard him at the police department talking to the police. Pooky can't believe it. He's in shock. He cannot believe what's being said. He said, look, go holler at the lawyer. Get me out on bond. She said, I got you, baby. They got plenty of money put away, plenty of money. They've been rolling for a couple of years and really ain't been spending nothing. They've been investing everything, saving everything, living real modestly. You understand what I'm talking about? Rolling. I'm talking about rolling, getting it. You know what I'm saying? So look, check this out. She gets off to the phone, and then Pooky and Jarvis' mama calls. She tells her everything that happened. And she says, what are we going to do? So their mama says, I got a plan. She said, but you're going to have to come to see me. And we'll talk about it then. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. She said, I'll be there. Because she had gotten on the visitation list too. Because her and Pooky plan on getting married and spending the rest of their lives together. So she's part of the family now. So she goes to visit their mother. And Lynn, she breaks it down. She said, look, this is what we're going to have to do. So what we're going to have to do. Jarvis is going to have to take this lick. But we got to find a way to twist everything back on him. She said, that's your son. She said, he stopped being my son the minute he told it Granny was the plug. She said, I told him that this was serious business and not to play. This is not what you're supposed to do to family. So Pooky's girlfriend sitting there listening. She's trying to figure out what type of family have I gotten myself into here. Now, Miss Lynn is telling her what's real for the circumstances. But a lot of people don't understand it. They can't take that. They can't relate to something as wicked as this. Family members turning on each other. But that's what happens. For all of you out there that's talking about you about that life, you better think about it. Don't nobody want to go to jail for you. Ain't nobody going to go to jail for you. but they're going to want you to go to jail for them, right? This so-called code. But anyway, if you want to know what plan Miss Lynn and Pooky's girlfriend came up with to get this thing up off of Pooky and put it on Jarvis, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.